Hi everyone, welcome to Edge of NFT live at ETH Denver. I'm here with Richard Carthon, who's my co-host today. I'm Joshua Kriger, one of the three founders of Edge of NFT, and I am so excited to be here with Illia, the co-founder of Near Protocol. Welcome to our show today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's been an exciting few days for us, and I know for you, you had a big announcement yesterday about Near and where you guys are going. Why don't you tell our listeners about what you talked about yesterday? It's really exciting stuff.
For sure, yeah. So if you remember one thing from this podcast is that Near is the boss. And let me unpack that. So
Yes.
the kind of overall, we have always been building toward a mass adoption, toward giving users the control they need, the assets control, the data control, all of these things. The problem is you always start from like building foundational infrastructure, and it's a very developer-focused, developer-centric view. And at the same time, we have a pretty big ecosystem. There's thousands of projects building, but they all still very fragmented. They're building different pieces of experience. There's just no kind of single place where users can come and actually start experiencing navigating. And then there's another part, which is actually most of the blockchain is not very decentralized because you at the end still have, uniswap.org, right, the website. You have, Curve that got hacked. Like you have the front ends that are very centralized, developed by a centralized team, and are like highly kind of susceptible to issues. And so what we have launched yesterday is kind of a new layer that allows to build composable front ends that are decentralized, that are served from the blockchain. This then built on top of already existing data stack we have on top of actually any blockchain. And so with that, you can start building applications and user applications extremely fast that are fully decentralized. The front end is decentralized, the back end is decentralized. You can use any smart contract on any blockchain. So you can actually have an app that uses Ethereum smart contract and Near smart contract at the same time in one application, one experience. Users will not know about it. They'll just log in and start using it. We're launching actually a lot more things like search, notifications, kind of all of the experiences that users are used to in Web 2 in one kind of package. And so that's what we're calling blockchain operating system. It's a place where developers get all of the tools they need, all of the services they need to build, and users can just come in and use applications and not think about hardware, the blockchain behind the scene. And so all of this, we just released alpha.near.org. This is where kind of the preview of this is happening. There's already like over 2,000 users there, and kind of a lot of developer activity as well. And it's going to be rolling out over the next few months to like kind of more and more wider.
Well, you guys have been busy. This is a massive announcement. Can we rewind in terms of who you are and how we got to this moment and how much preparation went into this?
For sure, yeah. That's been like over 4 years in the making. So my original I'm actually from Ukraine. My background is machine learning. I've been doing machine learning for about 10 years. I was at Google Research, working across natural language understanding. I'm actually contributed to a paper that right now all of the ChatGPT, GPT-3 stuff is based on. And I left Google and partnered up with my co-founder Alex. We were starting to work on kind of how do we kind of use some of these models to generate code. We wanted to automate software development. And as part of that, we ended up building a crowdsourcing system. We had people around the world, mostly students, working on small tasks for us, and we needed to pay them, like a micropayments. It sounds like and it's actually pretty hard to do with traditional financial system, especially when you pay into China, into Russia, into Ukraine back then. And so we started looking at blockchain as a solution for our own problem, like while we were doing something else. And the more we kind of gotten into the rabbit hole, the more we realized there is a problem in the blockchain that is actually very not solved.
And when was this?
So this was like May 2011. Oh, sorry, 2018. 2018. So this is already after like kind of hype of the ICOs, etc. But it was like, hey, there is a technology that's supposed to be a global payment network, but when you start actually trying to use it, it's super complicated, it's super clunky, it's super expensive, it doesn't scale. Even at the scale we had, like a few thousand people a day, for example, it was not scaling, and it was actually more expensive to, for example, pay people on Ethereum than how much we were paying them.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, well, that's a problem. And so we like started digging like what alternatives are, other kind of approaches, protocols, etc. We did not find anything that was approaching from kind of base principles of how do we sell scalability, but maintain usability? How do we keep like the experience of using the blockchain as kind of as removed from the user as possible? And so that's what Near started with. Like, how do we make it really simple to use and build for developers? It should be secure, obviously, and it needs to be scalable. So simple, secure, scalable. And so blockchain was kind of obviously piece number one as a foundation infrastructure, but we always were building, user tooling, developer tooling, and focusing on kind of end-to-end experience. And so this announcement is kind of tying it all together, right? It's like, because like, yes, we started as layer one, but in reality, it's not about layer one. Layer one is just the component you need to build this kind of enabling experience for the users. And so that's why we're calling it blockchain operating system, the BOSS.
I love it. I could have used the boss back in college, and had we met back then, maybe 10 years earlier, you would have got started earlier, because I was working remotely with a company doing optical character recognition processing with a team of college students at my own college and other colleges all over the world. And I was trying to figure out how to do these micropayments to get them compensated for taking these characters and processing them. And it was really, really difficult back then too. So I totally get it. And I think there's a lot of microeconomies that can benefit from this technology.
Exactly, yeah. At the end, what blockchain is really good at is opening up markets, and actually everything in our life is a market. We just don't usually perceive it that way. And so like right now it's like so hard even when you do have it on chain to access it. And so what we making it easy, making it cross-chain available, making it kind of liquidity to flow, and at the same time the user experience just like don't need to think about any of the blockchain details.
Mm-hmm. So with the big announcement that you just did, which I think is quite remarkable, so you were starting to get into alpha.near.org, which is BOSS, which y'all are bringing out, and it's very timely, just as Joshua was alluding to how back in college he was starting to build. He was trying to create these things. And right now, as much as people call it a bear market, we're in a builder's market. It's time for people to build, and y'all are creating a process for people to be able to do that. So why would more and more people enter your ecosystem to participate in this latest drop?
For sure, yeah. So, well, let me just a quick note on the bear market, right? So we started in pretty much August 2018. So if you remember, this was like on a full-on steep drop down. We built through 2019, and launched in 2020. So like 2019 was great. It was like so little distractions. You could focus, you can build reputation. Like it was amazing. And so like for us right now, it's an amazing time. We're building, we're shipping. It's actually like I think our team started shipping faster like since January than it like
less distractions, right?
Less distractions.
Like your team isn't trading crypto as much. They're just working.
So I think it's actually really exciting, and we see similar things happening on our developers in our ecosystem. But what this kind of BOSS platform allows you to do is actually develop faster, period. It's not just develop faster in Web3. Like this is actually a faster development environment for front ends already in Web2. And we see some people building Web2 applications on this as well. You don't need to do hosting, you don't need to do identity, you have payments embedded, you don't need like Stripe or anything, and you can compose from existing pieces really quickly new experiences. And so like what we already see is like this is going to be a better developer experience, period. And that's always what we were trying to, like Web3 should be better than Web2. It should not be like, hey, we should be like matching Web2 experience. No, it should be better, and it should be like 10x better. You should be building faster. You should be attracting users faster. There should be better network effects because users have control, and so they don't have like issues with like kind of the onboarding should be easier and not harder. Like you should be coming already with your social graph. So if you're using a new app and you already have your social graph, like you don't need to re-onboard and refollow everyone. It should be really quickly. So that's what we're getting right now. We have social graph already on chain. We have we have all those pieces coming together now, and so we see already people like building new experiences that it's possible to do in Web2. It's just going to take you so much longer, and here you can ship things in like 1-2 days. And that's why I'm excited here for the hackathon, because we have a bunch of bounties, we have a bunch of kind of things for people to build, and I'm obviously like after this we're going to continue rolling this in. So we already see a bunch of people coming, and I'm sure there will be more and more, even from Web2, who will see the power of this.
Absolutely. And your ecosystem is also quite robust. I'm in LA, and there's a lot of Near builders and projects that are spawning from the Near ecosystem. We have Chris Gale coming on our show soon, the founder of the new NFT marketplace on Near. What are some of the existing projects that everyone should know about that are being built on the Near ecosystem that you're excited about?
I mean, there's a ton. So like the thing is, I will name few, but then I'll get a lot of shit for not naming somebody else. So I'll apologize to all of them. So the ones like I think really exciting. So there's a whole host of NFT marketplaces that are really amazing. Few and far. There's Chris Gale. There's Minbase. There's Paris. There's like few others that are kind of NFT aggregators. All of that is really powerful because kind of Near always been designed for like utility first, and so a lot of these folks are actually working on really cool kind of experiences, utility, NFT enablement, working with kind of existing companies to create some experience around NFT, not just drop a kind of art, like generative art, but then not have anything from this. And I think that's exciting. There's a lot of gaming that's built around these communities. It's really cool. Games sadly take time to build, like way longer usually than one expects. We have really cool financial applications. I'll just name Orderly because it's actually solving the problems that we've seen with centralized exchanges by having a decentralized order book where the order book itself is off-chain, so you still have the performance of centralized exchange, but all the custody and settlement happens on-chain right away. And so you cannot do things that we've seen centralized exchanges do with this model, while you still have exactly the same experience as of a centralized exchange. And so they already kind of, they've been growing and they're launching more products in coming months, so keep track of that. I think like there's, kind of a lot of exciting stuff in DAOs, like people keep experimenting. The social and kind of IP ownership spaces is really interesting. So social, obviously niche as well in LA, check it out. It's like kind of mini communities, NFT enabled, but also like creates kind of this niche communities. It's really, I think is where the social interactions are going anyway. And IP ownership spans from, SailGP owning a team with a DAO to, for example, Kino, where the community can like fund the movie and interact with it, right? So like you have like a very big range of kind of what IP ownership means, but I think that use case is extremely powerful. And there's like a ton of other stuff that like, I mean, even here, right, there was a lot of folks, obviously with infrastructure, with tooling, but like the end user like experiences is where I think is really getting exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're looking at this and more builders are coming to your ecosystem, you have a lot of different pieces of your ecosystem that is making it more possible for users to onboard and become part of that mass adoption, right? That mass adoption word is something that people like to toss around, talk about all the time. And right now during this builder time, and as you just launched Boss, you're trying to help bring that out by allowing, just like you said, your developers to come and be able to build easier and bring on those Web 2 devs over into Web 3, and also for your end user experience to be more fluid. So, what is your take on what is it going to take to keep moving mass adoption forward?
Yeah, so that's why. So Boss is not just just the developer platform, right? Similarly, how like Windows back in the day and right now the iOS on iPhone, it's important that the platform itself gets kind of enough audience so that it becomes the distribution channel. And then developers want to come to it because it's a distribution channel, right? Like people started wanting to build for iOS early on because like they knew there's enough iPhones out there. And so what we're doing with Boss and with alpha.near.org is kind of starting to build that distribution and audience. And there's like few core primitives like social interactions, engagement that kind of start a lot of this. We're still starting with our community, obviously, and so like right now it's for Near and kind of super fans and still Web3 users, but we are dropping kind of onboarding, making sure that we're going to be using biometrics for creating kind of private keys behind the scene so that users don't even see that. You just look at your phone, boom, you're in. You have actually like private key, it's self-custody, it's synced, it's in iCloud or in Google Password, but you don't even need to know about that. And so as soon as you have that, you have engagement, you have follows, we will have like growth kind of engines on top of this. And so this is kind of a two-sided market, right? Developers building new experiences, and then we bringing more and more users into these experiences and kind of matching them. And so kind of what we'll need to figure out is how to build better and better matching, this discovery part. And so I think that's where kind of the network effect's going to start, because because everything is on the same platform, because users have the control over their data and they can interact with any of these apps and experiences. They'll see that, like, oh, actually I'm going from here to here. Like, I still see my friends, but now they're interacting with music, right? We have like music applications as well, by the way, the Mago Endless. And so like you can go, oh, like I see this like new person that I just saw, they like listening to this music. Okay, cool. Like, oh, they're actually going to a concert. They're organizing a DAO to go to a concert together, right? Like, boom, you can join that. So you can have this like really interesting flows and interactions between different experiences. And we don't have this right now. We don't have this in Web 2. We don't have this in Web 3. So this is what we're trying to really put together, and then put a lot of growth behind it, because like we can actually onboard a lot of users from Sweatcoin, from other like already existing audiences that right now are kind of still locked within like one application, and just really give them a lot of engaging experience.
It's really exciting to hear how all this is coming together for Near and where you guys are going. When we talk about mass adoption, there's the hockey stick analogy, of course, and it really feels like you guys are trying to push this whole industry forward, not just what's happening in Near itself. What's the timing in terms of where we are in the hockey stick, and how, with kind of not having rose-colored glasses on, when do we hit that inflection point that based on sort of how you see the accelerated growth within the Near ecosystem?
So there's still a lot to build, right? This is like, as I said, we're launching, for example, easier onboarding. We're launching kind of a lot of like better recovery methods. So all of those pieces, like kind of understanding every drop-off point for users is extremely important. And so similarly, like Sweatcoin, for example, has 120 million installs. They have the user base, but that user base is kind of not activated yet. They're not fully engaged with all of the experiences on the blockchain. And so we kind of need to do both. We need to like drop the onboarding lower and lower, but then like test and try the engagement. And like this is normal product work. This is like we're talking about stuff that everybody does, but like we'll need a lot of experiments and see. Our goal is to have like this all really coming together for NearCon, and
when's that this year and where?
I don't know. We announced it yet. But
we not trying to trick you, but that will be coming up in what quarter?
In the fourth quarter.
Great,
awesome. Yeah. And so with that, I think we'll see a pretty nice growth from that, and kind of from more cohesion between all of this application. Again, not just Near protocol blockchain, but also other blockchains as well. Like we already support MetaMask login. You can use Ethereum apps as well. So like, we can see how the whole Web3 ecosystem is going to be coming together on the bus.
That's pretty incredible. And, a lot of people listening to this right now, and they're really excited. They're like, oh my gosh, now's the time. Now's the time. I've been waiting for that moment to try to get with Near. How can people that are listening to this podcast right now really start to engage and learn more about BOSS and everything that's going on with Near?
Well, so, I mean, you can start with Near.org, but alpha.near.org is where you, like, if you are interested in, like, really diving in, that's where to go, right? It's like, I mean, again, it's still, we're working on onboarding. There's still some kinks. That's why it's alpha. But, that's going to be the engaging experience. There's already, as I said, 2,000 people, like, interacting there. There's, like, a whole pretty live feed, people following. There's applications, there are games already built there. There's, like, some other experiences, financial experiences, NFT experiences. The NFT marketplace built inside the BOSS already. So, like, a lot of stuff to play around. Give feedback if you're a developer, build some more stuff, and just see it growing as more and more stuff gets launched.
Well, we're excited. We really appreciate your time with us today, Illia. I know there's a lot going on at ETH Denver. I hope it's a meaningful process from here in terms of getting those builders to get pumped about what's going on. And we've got Outer Edge LA and working with some of your companies on that, and then look forward to maybe seeing you at NearCon and being part of that and getting some updates. So thanks for your time today.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.